Now, this is our final story this week. In order for any brand to stay alive and profitable, it has to stay relevant and fresh, and that sometimes means a complete brand overhaul. Asset manager STANLIB has just undergone that intense exercise. So let's delve into the thinking and how it's all been packaged and delivered. Here with us, Busisiwe Maduna, Head of Marketing, along with Livesey from the agency TBWA. To both of you, a very warm welcome. Busi, let me start with you. An established brand like STANLIB, why do you need to go through this process? What's the intention?
We do know from our own experiences and our research that a brand is actually not as well known, particularly in the B2C environment, in the retail environment. And we are needing to, as the next stage of our business agenda, to have a brand that is commensurate with our ambition. All right,
from your side first, then we'll talk about the agency. From your side, though, where's the starting point in an exercise like this? It doesn't happen overnight.
No. Capturing the essence of what the organization is about is really striking a great balance between, what we do, how we do it, and what the actual story is. And that is a piece of work that has taken us a bit longer because we do believe in co-creation, we do believe in, finding our compelling truth. And that is really the fact that we are essentially, what we talk about is intellectual curiosity applied. We are set and focused on finding being able to service the different needs as they change, and being able to take that out into the marketplace in terms of a passion to succeed.
It's a process that involves all of your stakeholders, staff, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But at what point, Adam, does the agency come into all of this and start delivering on that compelling insight, the real truth and all of that? It's a great job to work on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think STANLIB's got a great history as well. Obviously, these guys, internally have worked on the comstrat and a whole lot of things before the creative guys get involved. But it was quite a long process. We presented a few ideas, and this was actually our favourite and one we really loved. And whenever you do a good piece of work, and we think it's a good piece of work, you need a great client. I think these guys really let us do what we do best.
We're going to put the full ad on our Facebook page. We're playing bits of it now as we speak. But the television ad itself, I was a little intrigued. It's a softer tone and treatment. It doesn't seem like a financial services ad. I would suggest to you that in a tough economic environment like this, isn't that hard sell, head-butting approach more important? You would disagree with me.
Yeah, it's actually funny. You can touch people in so many different ways, and I think too often out there, people are coming in with a very brash, like shouting at consumers kind of approach, and we wanted to make something a little bit more. And I think definitely you're correct. In these difficult financial times, you want to keep it a little bit more honest and something that people can really resonate. We consciously wanted to pull on people's heartstrings and really touch on an insight that I think most people, 99.9% of people, can identify with.
Tugging on the heartstrings, it's a thoughtful piece of brand communication. Let's talk about the staff, the client base, the stakeholders. I would suggest to you, and I say this with absolute respect, that any financial services brand is inherently conservative. I want you to be conservative. So when you go to your staff and your clients and everybody else, and you say we're doing this brand makeover, how tough a sell is it?
I think it was something that we all knew inherently that we had to do. Our messaging had been so mixed over the years, and we really needed a platform to get our voice back. But that platform and that message needed to be real and be representative about what we were about as a business first, before we could engage externally. So it wasn't a tough sell. I mean, part of what we had to do was get everybody on board, and we went through what we call a cascading process. And we took every staff member through the journey and the messaging and what we're about to see, because one of the worst things you can do, as you know, is to launch an external promise and not be able to deliver it. And it was great to get that engagement even before we had the product in terms of the advert. But once we had the external messaging, it was quite clear the intent that we were going for. So yes, conservative, but it is the truth.
Adam, talk to me a little bit about the narrative as far as the advertising is concerned. There are so many other brands that go with, with the story, the metaphor, and try and make a case based on something else. You've had a different approach to that.
Yeah. Definitely, I think in the financial services category, like people kind of latch onto a true story, and then attach their brand to that true story and find some analogy from a, you know, whether it be trust or long term or, you know, those kind of things. And I think people are sometimes getting a little bit mixed up between the few. So we definitely tried to take a different approach. We didn't take the metaphor approach. And I think we found a unique thing on the market. There's not many things like this on TV at the moment in South Africa, so I think it's quite fresh.
Folks, to both of you, thank you very much for the insight. And that is this week's edition of Mags on Media. More on Facebook and on Twitter, and interview highlights on enca.com. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
News that moves. enca.com.